Success isn't free. It's not handed out to those who simply wish, hope, or wait. It comes to those who are willing to sacrifice, those who are ready to give up comfort, distractions, and excuses in exchange for something greater. Look around. Every great achiever, leader, and self-made success story has one thing in common. They paid a price. They sacrificed their nights to work while others slept. They invested in growth while others wasted time. They pushed through struggles when quitting seemed easier. Yet most people want the rewards without the effort, the achievement without the pain. They desire success, but they're unwilling to let go of the habits, routines, and distractions that hold them back. And that's why so many remain stuck, watching others rise while they stay exactly where they are. The truth is, success demands sacrifice. It requires discipline when no one is watching, effort when no one is cheering, and resilience when the road gets tough. You can either choose temporary comfort or long-term success, but you can't have both. Today, I will break down the key sacrifices every successful person has made, and the ones you must be willing to make if you truly want to change your life. So ask yourself, are you ready to pay the price? Because success isn't reserved for the lucky, it's reserved for the relentless. And if you're willing to sacrifice, nothing can stop you. Number 1, success demands sacrifice. Success is not a matter of luck or chance. It is a decision, a process, and a commitment to giving up what is easy in exchange for what is meaningful. The world is full of people who dream big but never move forward because they refuse to make the necessary sacrifices. They want success but also want to stay comfortable. They want growth but don't want to let go of the habits that keep them stagnant. And that is why so many people remain stuck, because they are unwilling to trade their present comforts for their future success. Every great achiever has sacrificed something to get where they are. They didn't waste their nights scrolling through distractions or spend their money on temporary pleasures. They didn't let comfort rob them of their potential. They understood something that most people refuse to accept. Success demands a price, whether it's time, money, energy, or even relationships. Something has to be given up in order to rise to the next level. This is where most people fail. They want the rewards, but they don't want to let go of the things that hold them back. They want financial freedom, but continue spending recklessly. They want a strong body, but refuse to give up unhealthy habits. They want a thriving business, but are unwilling to invest the time and effort required. They want success, but they also want to avoid sacrifice. And that's why they never move forward. Look at anyone who has achieved greatness, and you'll notice a pattern. They sacrifice more than most people were willing to give up. They sacrifice sleep to work on their craft. They sacrifice social events to build their business. They sacrifice mindless entertainment to educate themselves. Success is never about working harder for a short period. It's about consistently making choices that others won't. And those choices require giving up something today to gain something greater tomorrow. The uncomfortable truth is that most people don't truly want success. They want the illusion of it. They say they want more out of life, but their actions tell a different story. They continue choosing what's convenient over what's necessary. They let emotions control their decisions instead of discipline. They stay attached to routines that keep them trapped in the same cycle. But life is simple. Every day you are either moving toward your goals or further away from them. And the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the ability to sacrifice. So ask yourself, what are you willing to give up? Because whether you realize it or not, you are already making a trade every single day. Every hour spent on distractions is an hour stolen from your future success. Every dollar wasted on unnecessary things is a dollar that could have been invested in your growth. Every time you choose short-term comfort over long-term gain, you are sacrificing your future. The only question is, will you sacrifice comfort for success, or will you sacrifice success for comfort? Number 2, the price of success, discipline and effort. Success is not a gift. It is earned through discipline, effort, and relentless commitment. Most people love the idea of success. They dream about it, talk about it, and admire those who have achieved it. But when it comes to the work, the consistency, and the sacrifices required, they hesitate. They want the rewards, but not the effort. They want the glory, but not the grind. And that is exactly why most people fail. Not because they aren't smart or capable, but because they are not willing to put in the work when it's hard, inconvenient, and unrecognized. Success is never handed out for free. It doesn't come to those who simply desire it. It comes to those who show up every single day, no matter how they feel. This is where most people struggle. They rely on motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, fluctuating with emotions. When people feel excited, they are willing to put in the effort. But the moment things get tough, when progress slows down, when results aren't immediate, they give up. That is why discipline is the real key to success. Unlike motivation, discipline doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It forces you to take action, even when you don't feel like it. Every successful person you admire has mastered the art of discipline. They wake up early, train when they don't feel like it, push through exhaustion, and stay focused despite distractions. They understand that success is not about working hard when it's convenient, but about working hard especially when it's not. Take athletes, for example. Champions are not made in the spotlight. They are made in the early mornings, in the late nights, in the unseen hours of relentless practice. They train when no one is watching, push through injuries, and refuse to quit when things get difficult. Entrepreneurs who build empires don't work only when inspiration strikes. They work daily, through failures, setbacks, and long periods of uncertainty. Artists who master their craft don't wait until they feel creative. They create every day, refining their skills through repetition. Discipline separates those who succeed from those who don't. The real question is, are you willing to do what's necessary even when it's hard? Most people aren't. They hit snooze instead of waking up early to work on their goals. They skip workouts because they don't feel like it. They waste time on distractions because focus requires effort. But here's the truth. Success does not care about how you feel. It doesn't wait for you to be in the mood. It rewards those who show up, who do the work, and who push forward regardless of obstacles. If you're waiting for motivation, you will never make it. Effort is another key ingredient that most people overlook. They assume success happens overnight, but nothing great is achieved without years of consistent, disciplined effort. The most successful people in the world did not get there by luck. They worked harder, longer, and smarter than those around them. They put in thousands of hours of practice while others were taking it easy. They stayed disciplined when others lost focus. They didn't just dream, they acted. They didn't just hope, they worked. They paid the price. If you want to achieve something great, you must be willing to put in the effort long before you see results. Success isn't immediate, and that's why most people quit. They expect quick returns, and when things don't happen fast enough, they give up. But those who truly succeed understand that success compounds over time. Every hour spent improving, every sacrifice made, every moment of discipline, it all adds up. Over time, the gap between those who put in the work and those who don't becomes undeniable. So are you ready to pay the price? Are you willing to show up, stay disciplined, and put in the effort even when it's hard? Because success doesn't go to those who just talk about it. It goes to those who prove it with their actions. You can either make excuses or you can make progress, but you can't have both. The choice is yours. Number 3, sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term reward. One of the biggest reasons why people fail to achieve success is because they prioritize short-term pleasure over long-term reward. In today's world, instant gratification is everywhere. Social media, entertainment, junk food, impulse spending. The temptation to indulge in what feels good now is stronger than ever. And that's exactly why most people remain stuck. They are unwilling to trade temporary comfort for lasting success. They want the results, but don't want to endure the process. But the truth is, if you are not willing to delay gratification, you will never reach your full potential. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. Successful people are willing to do what most people avoid. They sacrifice nights out to work on their goals. They choose discipline over distraction. They trade convenience for growth. They understand that success isn't built on comfort. It's built on the small, uncomfortable choices made every single day. The average person, on the other hand, struggles because they constantly choose what feels good in the moment over what truly matters. They spend hours watching Netflix instead of learning a new skill. They scroll through their phones instead of working on their craft. They choose junk food over health, spending over saving, laziness over discipline. And years later, they wonder why they are still in the same place. If you look at the most successful people in the world, you'll see one common pattern. They sacrifice short-term pleasure to build something greater. Warren Buffett didn't build his wealth by spending money on luxuries. He invested every dollar into his future. Michael Jordan didn't become a legend by taking days off. He trained relentlessly while others relaxed. Entrepreneurs don't create multi-million-dollar businesses by partying every weekend. They grind in silence while everyone else is distracted. The ones who win in life are the ones who are willing to sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. The problem is, most people don't see the consequences of their small daily decisions. A single night out, instead of working on your dreams, doesn't seem like a big deal. Skipping a workout once doesn't feel like it will make a difference. Spending money on things you don't need doesn't seem harmful in the moment. But over time, these small choices compound. Before you know it, years have passed, and you're still in the same place, struggling financially, stuck in bad habits, and watching others succeed while you remain stagnant. Success and failure don't happen overnight. They are built in the tiny, seemingly insignificant choices you make every day. The question is, what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to trade entertainment for education? Are you willing to put in the extra hours while others waste time? Are you willing to say no to distractions so you can focus on your goals? Because if you are not willing to sacrifice, success will remain out of reach. You cannot keep choosing what's easy and expect extraordinary results. The best way to shift your mindset is to start viewing sacrifice as an investment, not a loss. Every hour spent working on your goals is an investment in your future. Every dollar saved and invested instead of wasted is a step toward financial freedom. Every disciplined decision today compounds into success down the road. But most people don't have the patience to wait for long-term rewards. They want everything now, and when results don't come instantly, they quit. But the truth is, success is not immediate. It's a process, a marathon, not a sprint. If you want to be successful, you must learn to delay gratification. You must be willing to struggle now so you can thrive later. You must be willing to trade temporary comfort for long-term greatness. Because in the end, your success will be determined by the sacrifices you are willing to make today. The choice is simple. Do you want to feel good now, or do you want to win later? Your future depends on your answer. Number 4, time is your most valuable asset. Use it wisely. If there is one thing more valuable than money, talent, or opportunity, it is time. Time is the only resource you can never get back. You can lose money and earn it again. You can fail at something and try again. But once time is gone, it's gone forever. Yet most people treat their time as if it is unlimited. They waste hours, days, even years on things that do not bring them closer to their goals. They procrastinate, saying they will start tomorrow, next week, or next year, until one day they wake up and realize they've run out of time. Look around and you will see the truth. The people who succeed in life are the ones who respect their time and use it wisely. They understand that every hour is either moving them forward or holding them back. While most people are distracted, wasting time on social media, binge watching TV, or engaging in meaningless activities, successful individuals are building, learning, and growing. They don't wait for the right moment to take action. They create the right moment by making every second count. They don't waste time on excuses. They use every opportunity to get ahead. That is why they rise while others stay stuck. The problem is, most people don't realize how much time they are actually wasting. They say they don't have time to work on their goals, yet they spend hours scrolling through their phones. They say they don't have time to exercise, yet they watch hours of television. They say they don't have time to read or learn a new skill, yet they waste entire weekends doing things that add no value to their future. The truth is, it's not about having time. It's about making time. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they choose to use those hours. Think about it this way. What if you only had 6 months to change your life? What if you knew that in 6 months, everything you have now would be taken away, and the only way to build something better was to use those months wisely? Would you still spend hours on distractions? Would you still waste your time on things that don't matter? Or would you become relentless, focused, and disciplined with every second? The reality is, you don't need 6 months to pass before you start treating your time with value. You can start right now. The world does not reward those who waste time. It rewards those who take control of it. Every successful person understands that their time is their greatest asset, which is why they protect it, structure it, and use it with intention. They wake up early. They set clear goals. They eliminate distractions. They don't allow negativity, procrastination, or meaningless activities to steal their future. They move with urgency because they know that time is limited. If you want to be successful, you must start treating your time as something precious. That means cutting out distractions, setting priorities, and making every moment count. Stop waiting for the perfect time to start. Start now with what you have. Stop making excuses for why you can't do something. Find a way to make it happen. Stop wasting time on things that do not serve your future. Invest in yourself, your skills, and your growth. Because every second wasted is a second you will never get back. The truth is, your success is not determined by how much talent you have, how smart you are, or how much money you start with. It is determined by how well you use your time. The people who win in life are not necessarily the most gifted or the most privileged. They are simply the ones who treat every moment as an opportunity to get better. They are the ones who refuse to waste time on things that won't matter in the long run. So ask yourself, how are you using your time? Are you spending it on things that will bring you closer to your goals, or are you letting it slip away on distractions? Because at the end of the day, success is not about how much time you have. It's about what you do with the time you are given. Use it wisely, or you will regret it later. Number 5. Sacrifice is an investment, not a loss. Most people hear the word sacrifice and immediately associate it with loss. They think of missing out, giving up things they enjoy, and enduring hardship. And that's exactly why they never move forward. They don't understand that sacrifice is not about losing, it's about investing. Every sacrifice you make today is a deposit into your future success. Every hour spent working instead of wasting time. Every dollar saved and invested instead of spent on unnecessary things. Every moment of discipline over indulgence. It all compounds over time. The people who succeed don't avoid sacrifice. They embrace it because they know it's the price for something greater. Look at anyone who has built something extraordinary, and you will find a story of sacrifice. The athlete who wakes up before dawn to train while others sleep. The entrepreneur who works late nights and early mornings while others are out partying. The student who studies while their friends relax. The artist who spends years perfecting their craft while others chase temporary pleasures. Success is not about having more talent or resources. It's about being willing to sacrifice more than others are. Most people never reach their full potential because they are unwilling to trade comfort for progress. They want success, but they also want to hold on to the habits, distractions, and routines that keep them stuck. They want wealth, but they refuse to sacrifice their reckless spending habits. They want a healthy body, but they refuse to sacrifice junk food and laziness. They want to build something meaningful, but they refuse to sacrifice their time on things that truly matter. And that's why they stay exactly where they are, because they refuse to make the trade. The reality is that you are already making sacrifices every single day, whether you realize it or not. Every time you choose entertainment over education, you are sacrificing growth. Every time you choose comfort over hard work, you are sacrificing progress. Every time you choose distractions over focus, you are sacrificing your future. The question is not whether you will sacrifice, it's what you are sacrificing. Are you sacrificing temporary pleasures for long-term success? Or are you sacrificing your dreams for short-term comfort? Successful people understand that sacrifice is an investment, not a punishment. They don't see it as missing out. They see it as setting themselves up for something bigger. Every moment they push through discomfort, every dollar they invest in their growth, every hour they spend improving, it all adds up. They are planting seeds today that will grow into something far greater tomorrow. And that is why they win. Most people, however, resist sacrifice because they want both comfort and success. But you can't have both. You can't spend hours watching TV and expect to be ahead in life. You can't spend money on things you don't need and expect to build wealth. You can't waste time on distractions and expect to have a winning mindset. Something has to give. So how do you start seeing sacrifice as an investment rather than a loss? Shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on what you're giving up, focus on what you're gaining. Instead of thinking about the temporary discomfort, think about the long-term reward. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve your goals, remind yourself that you are saying yes to your future. Every time you choose to work when you'd rather relax, remind yourself that you are building something that will bring you freedom. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, remind yourself that this is the price of success. The truth is, most people won't do this. And that's why most people stay average. They are unwilling to make the sacrifices necessary to change their lives. They choose comfort over challenge, pleasure over progress, and entertainment over education. But for those who are willing to sacrifice, the rewards are limitless. The ones who succeed are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who were willing to give up what others wouldn't. So ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice? What distractions, bad habits, or excuses are standing in your way? Because until you let them go, nothing will change. Success is not about luck. It's about the choices you make every day. And the choice is yours. Number 6. Every great achievement begins with a hard decision. Every great success story starts with a single, difficult decision. The decision to step away from comfort, to leave behind old habits, and to commit fully to a goal with no guarantee of success. Most people never make this decision. And that's why they stay stuck in the same place year after year. They hesitate, they overthink, they make excuses, and they convince themselves that they'll start one day. But the difference between those who achieve greatness and those who don't is simple. The ones who succeed are the ones who decide to go all in, no matter what. The truth is, most people are afraid of making the tough decisions that lead to success. They fear failure. They fear judgment. They fear discomfort. They would rather stay where they are, even if they're unhappy, than take a risk and step into the unknown. They want success. But they also want certainty. And that's the trap that keeps them stuck. Because there is no certainty in success. There is no perfect time to start. No guaranteed outcome. No way to know for sure if things will work out. But the people who succeed don't wait for guarantees. They make the decision first, and then they make it work. Think about the people who have achieved something great. The athlete who decided to commit to training before they ever won a championship. The entrepreneur who decided to start their business before they knew if it would succeed. The artist who decided to pursue their passion before they had an audience. Every breakthrough moment in life comes from a hard decision. The decision to stop hesitating and start acting. The problem is that most people are waiting for the perfect moment to start. They wait until they feel ready, until they have more money, until conditions are ideal. But the truth is, there is no perfect moment. There will always be obstacles, doubts, and reasons to wait. If you keep waiting for everything to line up, you will wait forever. The people who succeed are not the ones who had everything figured out from the beginning. They are the ones who started anyway. They didn't wait until they were ready. They decided to take action, even when they were scared, uncertain, and unprepared. Making the decision to commit fully is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. Most people keep one foot in and one foot out, unwilling to give up their safety net. They tell themselves they are trying, but deep down they are not fully committed. And that lack of commitment is why they never break through. Because success doesn't come to those who kind of want it. It comes to those who are willing to burn the bridges behind them and go all in. The moment you truly commit to a goal, everything changes. Your mindset shifts. Your priorities become clear. You stop making excuses and start finding solutions. You stop wasting time on distractions and start putting all your energy into what matters. When you make the decision that failure is not an option, you force yourself to grow, to push through obstacles, and to do whatever it takes to succeed. That is why so few people reach the highest levels of success, because very few people are willing to make this level of commitment. So ask yourself, what decision have you been avoiding? What goal do you keep putting off? Because you're afraid to fully commit. Whatever it is, make the decision today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. The longer you hesitate, the more opportunities you miss. And one day you'll look back and realize that the only thing standing between you and success was your own unwillingness to decide. The people who win in life are the ones who have the courage to make the hard decisions. They don't let fear stop them. They don't wait for guarantees. They don't waste time overthinking. They choose to act. And because they choose to act, they succeed. The only question is, will you? Number 7. If you're not willing to struggle, you're not ready to succeed. The harsh reality that most people refuse to accept is this. If you're not willing to struggle, you're not ready to succeed. Every great achievement, every success story, every legendary figure you admire has one thing in common. They endured struggle, pain, and hardship. They didn't wake up one day and suddenly find themselves at the top. They fought, they suffered, they kept going when everything in them wanted to quit. They were willing to struggle, and that's why they made it. Most people, however, don't want that. They want the results, but not the work. They want the reward, but not the struggle. They say they want success, but the moment things get difficult, they back down. They expect the path to be smooth, easy, and painless. And when they realize that success requires sacrifice, discipline, and resilience, they walk away. That is why so many people never achieve their goals. Not because they aren't capable, but because they aren't willing to endure the process. Think about the people who are truly successful. The athletes who push through years of grueling training before they ever win a championship. The entrepreneurs who work late nights, take risks, and endure failure after failure before they build a successful business. The artists who practice relentlessly for years before their work is recognized. They all face struggle. They all went through moments where quitting seemed like the easiest option, but they didn't quit. They didn't let struggle break them. They let it shape them. Most people don't see this part of success. They only see the final product. They see the victories, the wealth, the recognition, but they don't see what happened behind the scenes. They don't see the years of rejection, the sleepless nights, the failures, the sacrifices. And because they only focus on the outcome, they assume that success should come easily. When it doesn't, they convince themselves that they aren't good enough, that they weren't meant for it, that it's just not in the cards for them. But the truth is, the struggle is not a sign that you're failing, it's a sign that you're on the right path. Struggle is the price of success. It is the process that forces you to grow, to improve, to become stronger. Without struggle, there is no progress. Every obstacle, every setback, every challenge is an opportunity to build the resilience and discipline you need to handle success when it finally comes. Because the truth is, success is not just about what you achieve. It's about who you become along the way. If success were easy, everyone would have it. But it's not. And that's why only a small percentage of people ever reach the top. Because only a small percentage are willing to endure the struggle required to get there. If you are not willing to struggle, then you are not ready for success. Success does not come to those who give up when things get hard. It does not come to those who let fear, doubt, and failure stop them. It comes to those who push through the pain, who refuse to quit, who get up every time they fall. It comes to those who embrace the struggle instead of running from it. The biggest mistake people make is thinking that struggle means something is wrong, that if things are difficult, they must not be on the right path. But that's not true. Struggle is the way forward. Every successful person has faced challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But instead of quitting, they pushed through. Instead of letting failure define them, they used it to fuel their growth. Instead of seeing struggle as a roadblock, they saw it as a stepping stone. So ask yourself, are you truly willing to struggle for what you want? Are you willing to work when no one is watching? Are you willing to keep going when you see no immediate results? Are you willing to make sacrifices, endure setbacks, and push through the pain? Because if you're not, then success will always remain out of reach. But if you are willing to endure the struggle, to embrace the hard days, to keep going when everything inside you wants to quit, then success is only a matter of time. The people who win in life are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who fought, who suffered, who refused to give up. They are the ones who struggled, but kept moving forward anyway. So the question is, are you ready to struggle, or are you looking for the easy way out? Because if you're looking for shortcuts, for comfort, for a smooth path, you're not ready for success. But if you're willing to struggle, to endure, to push through no matter what, then nothing can stop you. Number 8, stop spending on wants. Invest in growth. One of the biggest reasons why people stay stuck in life is because they spend their money on wants instead of investing in their growth. They claim they want success. They claim they want financial freedom. They claim they want a better future. But their actions tell a different story. Instead of using their money wisely, they waste it on things that bring temporary pleasure but no long-term value. They spend on new clothes, fast food, unnecessary gadgets, entertainment, and status symbols, all while saying they can't afford to invest in themselves. And that's exactly why they remain in the same cycle year after year. Because wealth and success are not about how much you earn. It's about how well you use what you have. The truth is, money is a tool, and how you use it determines your future. Successful people understand this. They don't waste money on things they don't need. They use it to grow. They invest in learning, skill building, and opportunities that will bring them long-term rewards. They don't buy things to impress people. They buy things that make them better, smarter, and more valuable. They read books instead of buying expensive sneakers. They attend seminars instead of going out every weekend. They save and invest instead of spending every paycheck on things that don't matter. And that's why they continue to grow while everyone else stays stagnant. The average person, on the other hand, is caught in a cycle of financial self-sabotage. They complain about being broke, yet they spend money on things that don't serve them. They claim they don't have enough to invest in a business or a skill, yet they always seem to have enough for entertainment, fast food, and unnecessary luxuries. They focus on immediate gratification rather than long-term success. They don't realize that every dollar wasted today is a missed opportunity to build something greater. And years later, they wonder why they're still struggling. If you truly want success, you have to change your mindset about money. You have to stop seeing it as something to spend and start seeing it as something to use. Every dollar that comes into your hands is either moving you closer to your goals or further away from them. The question is, are you using your money wisely, or are you throwing it away on things that don't matter? Think about it. How many times have you spent money on something you thought would make you happy, only to forget about it a few days later? A pair of shoes, a night out, a new gadget, none of it adds any real value to your future. But now think about the last time you invested in yourself. Maybe it was a book, a course, a new skill. That investment stayed with you. It added something permanent to your life. It gave you knowledge, growth, and an advantage that others don't have. That is the difference between spending and investing. The wealthy and successful understand this difference. They know that every dollar invested in themselves will pay them back tenfold. They know that financial freedom isn't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep, how much you invest, and how much you grow. That's why they make smart choices with their money. They don't waste it on things that give them quick dopamine hits. They put it toward things that will elevate their future. Most people, however, will never make this shift. They will continue trading their future for short-term pleasure. They will keep spending on things they don't need, while complaining that they don't have enough to invest in themselves. They will keep making excuses, saying they'll start saving next month or next year, while continuing to throw money away on pointless luxuries. And then when they reach their 30s, 40s, or 50s, they will look back and realize how much time and money they wasted. But you don't have to be like most people. You can start making different choices today. You can start investing in yourself, your skills, your knowledge, and your future. You can start saying no to impulse spending and yes to financial discipline. You can start prioritizing growth over comfort, because every small financial decision you make today will compound over time. And in 5 years, you will either be thanking yourself or regretting the choices you made. So ask yourself, are you spending money to impress people, or are you using it to improve yourself? Are you buying things that make you look successful, or are you investing in things that actually make you successful? Are you trading your future for short-term pleasures, or are you making sacrifices now so you can have financial freedom later? Because the truth is, every time you spend money on something meaningless, you are making a choice to stay exactly where you are. But if you make the right choice, if you commit to investing in yourself, your growth, and your future, there is no limit to how far you can go. Success is not about how much you have, it's about how well you use what you have. And those who learn to use their money wisely will always be ahead of those who waste it. Number 9. You can't keep negative people and expect a positive life. Your environment shapes you more than you realize. The people you surround yourself with either push you towards success or pull you into failure. You can have the greatest ambitions, the strongest work ethic, and the clearest vision for your future. But if you are constantly surrounded by negative, toxic, or unmotivated people, you will struggle to break free. You can't build a positive life while keeping negative influences around. Success requires an environment that fuels growth, not one that drains it. The truth is, most people don't even realize how much the people around them are holding them back. They stay in friendships and relationships out of habit, obligation, or fear of being alone. They continue associating with people who complain, make excuses, and bring negativity into every conversation. They keep company with those who doubt them, discourage them, or constantly remind them of their past instead of supporting their future. And over time, this negativity seeps into their mindset, their habits, and their actions until they become just like the people they are surrounded by. Think about it. How often do you share a big dream or a goal with someone, only for them to respond with doubt? How often do people around you dismiss your ambitions, telling you that you're being unrealistic, that success is for other people, or that you should just be happy with what you have. The reality is many people don't want to see you succeed, not because they are evil, but because your growth makes them uncomfortable. Your ambition forces them to confront their own lack of effort. Your success reminds them of everything they could be doing but aren't. And instead of working on themselves, they try to pull you back down to their level. This is why so many people never reach their full potential. They stay loyal to the wrong people. They hold on to toxic friendships, draining relationships, and environments that suffocate their growth. They refuse to let go of the people who discourage them. And in doing so, they sacrifice their own success. But here's the truth. You cannot take everyone with you. Not everyone is meant to be part of your journey. If you are serious about success, you have to be willing to cut off the people who hold you back. Successful people understand this. They know that if they want to reach higher levels, they need to be surrounded by winners, visionaries, and people who push them to be better. They don't waste time around negativity. They don't entertain small-minded thinking. They don't engage in gossip, complaining, or self-pity. They choose their circle carefully because they know that the people around them influence their mindset, their habits, and ultimately their future. The question is, who are you surrounding yourself with? Are the people in your life encouraging you to grow? Or are they keeping you stuck? Are they lifting you up? Or are they constantly bringing you down? Are they pushing you to be better? Or are they filling your mind with doubt, fear, and negativity? If you want to change your life, you have to change your circle. This doesn't mean you have to cut people off with anger or resentment. It simply means you must be intentional about who you give your time and energy to. Some people will never change. Some will always complain, always doubt, always bring negativity into every situation. And if you allow their energy into your life, it will weigh you down. That is why you must set boundaries. That is why you must distance yourself from those who drain you and get closer to those who inspire you. And yes, this will be hard. Letting go of people, especially those you've known for years, is painful. But do you know what's even more painful? Staying in the same place because you were too afraid to walk away from the wrong people. Years from now, you will either look back and be grateful that you made the right choices, or you will regret wasting time in relationships that never served you. So make the hard choice now. Audit your circle. Who in your life is pushing you forward? Who is keeping you stuck? Who is inspiring you? And who is draining you? Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who encourage your growth, who believe in your potential. Seek out mentors, coaches, and successful individuals who can help you get to the next level. Because success is not just about what you do, it's also about who you allow in your life. If you want a positive, successful life, you cannot afford to keep negative people around. Choose wisely, or your environment will choose for you. Number 10. Small sacrifices today lead to big wins tomorrow. Success is not built on one grand move. It's not about waiting for the perfect opportunity or making a single big decision that changes everything overnight. Success is built on the small sacrifices you make every single day. It's the tiny, consistent choices that determine whether you move forward or stay stuck. The problem is that most people don't see this. They believe success is about one big breakthrough, so they ignore the small daily actions that actually create long-term results. They underestimate the power of small sacrifices, and that's why they never reach their full potential. Think about the people who achieve great things, the ones who are in incredible shape, the ones who build wealth, the ones who become highly skilled in their craft. None of them got there overnight. They didn't suddenly wake up successful. They made small sacrifices every single day for years. They chose to exercise instead of sleeping in. They chose to read instead of watching TV. They chose to save and invest instead of spending on things they didn't need. They chose to work on their dreams instead of wasting time on distractions. These sacrifices may seem small in the moment, but when repeated consistently, they compound into massive success. The biggest mistake people make is believing that small choices don't matter. They think skipping one workout won't make a difference, that spending an extra $20 on something unnecessary won't affect their finances, that wasting an hour on social media won't impact their productivity. And yes, one small bad choice won't ruin your life. But when you make those choices over and over again, they add up. Success and failure are both the result of small daily habits repeated over time. If you want to change your life, start by making small sacrifices today. You don't need to make a drastic, life-altering decision. You just need to start choosing what's beneficial over what's easy. Wake up 30 minutes earlier to work on a skill. Spend less time on entertainment and more time on education. Skip unnecessary spending and invest in something that will bring you long-term value. These decisions may seem insignificant at first, but over time they will completely transform your future. The challenge is that most people won't do this. They are unwilling to make small sacrifices because they don't see immediate results. They expect instant gratification, and when they don't see a payoff right away, they quit. This is why so many people stay in the same place for years. They choose short-term comfort over long-term success. They refuse to put in the work today, but then complain about where they are tomorrow. They let their emotions control their decisions instead of sticking to disciplined habits. But those who understand the power of small sacrifices stay consistent, even when they don't see results right away. They trust the process, knowing that success is inevitable if they keep going. Look at any highly successful person, and you will see a pattern. They were willing to do what most people won't. They made choices that required patience, discipline, and delayed gratification. They didn't chase quick wins or shortcuts. They embraced the struggle, knowing that their sacrifices today would lead to rewards in the future. And that's why they are ahead. Because while others were choosing what felt good in the moment, they were choosing what would pay off in the long run. The question is, are you willing to do the same? Are you willing to give up short-term pleasures for long-term success? Are you willing to choose discipline over convenience? Are you willing to delay gratification and trust the process? Because if you are, then success is not a matter of if. It's only a matter of time. 5 years from now, you will either look back and be grateful that you made small sacrifices every day, or you will look back and regret wasting time on things that didn't matter. The future version of you is being shaped by the choices you make right now. What you do today determines where you will be tomorrow. So ask yourself, what small sacrifices can you start making today? What habits can you eliminate? What distractions can you remove? What changes can you commit to? Because at the end of the day, success is not about luck. It's about making small, disciplined sacrifices day after day, year after year, until one day you wake up and realize you've built the life you once only dreamed of. Success is not reserved for a lucky few. It is not given to those who simply wish for it, nor does it magically appear in the lives of those who sit back and wait. Success is a choice. It belongs to those who are willing to sacrifice, commit, and do what most people won't. It is earned through discipline, effort, and the ability to make the hard choices every single day. The truth is, most people will never reach their full potential. Not because they aren't capable, but because they aren't willing to pay the price. They choose comfort over growth. They choose distractions over discipline. They choose short-term pleasure over long-term reward. And in doing so, they sacrifice their own future without even realizing it. But those who succeed, they understand that every choice they make today determines where they will be tomorrow. If you take one thing away from this, let it be this. You must be willing to give up something to gain something greater. Whether it's time, money, comfort, or even relationships that hold you back, something must be sacrificed for you to rise to the next level. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot keep the same habits, the same mindset, the same excuses, and expect a different outcome. Something has to change, and that change starts with you. So ask yourself, are you truly ready for success? Are you willing to make the sacrifices, endure the struggle, and put in the effort when no one is watching? Are you ready to let go of the things that hold you back so you can build something greater? Because if you are, then nothing can stop you. Success is not about luck. It is about the daily choices you make. 5 years from now, you will either look back with pride, knowing you gave it your all, or you will look back with regret, wishing you had started sooner. The choice is yours. Will you take control of your future, or will you let life pass you by? Will you keep making excuses, or will you commit to the sacrifices necessary to succeed? The decision is in your hands. Success is not for the chosen few. It is for the few who choose. So what will you choose?